All right, guys, so let's talk about scaling and specifically scaling within the lead generation space. Now, typically, there's two main approaches to scaling, and this applies to e-commerce, coaches, as well as lead gen. And those are typically coined horizontal and vertical. So horizontal scaling is when you essentially have a winning ad set, so one that is getting you great results, and you're going to essentially duplicate that ad set multiple times, all of them each with their own budget. And this means that right away you're spending almost 3 times the amount, or 3 or 4 or 5 times more the amount than what you were initially spending. The other version is to scale slowly. So increase the ad spend by about 16 to 20% of your winning ad set every 2 to 3 days. This is the safest way to scale. Vertical scaling is the safest way to scale. And it's also ideal if you're dealing with very small audience sizes. So horizontal scaling is a very aggressive way to scale, as you can see from the graph. Your spend can almost triple within, a 1 hour time frame, whereas vertical, it can take, up to 5, 6 days to get to that same amount of spend. However, horizontal can be a little bit trickier, especially if you're dealing with small audience sizes. So for example, if you have an audience size of 26,000 people and you duplicate the same ad set 5 times, you're probably going to run into issues in terms of spend. Your ad sets are going to stall and you're not going to get very good results from that. So generally speaking, in the lead generation space, vertical scaling is the most common strategy where you're increasing the ad spend incrementally over a period of days. So what you want to do is find the ad set that is getting you decent results. You would still be using auto bidding here, not manual bidding. And then you'd basically go in the ad set and increase that. I'm going to show you in a second how to do that. With horizontal, if you do have a large audience size, so let's say your client is targeting nationwide and you are dealing with fairly big audience sizes and you do want to scale quickly, typically speaking, make sure you only scale horizontal when you have it validated a great soft stats. So you've got good cost per lead, good click-through rate, good CPCs on your ad set, and then what you do is you can duplicate that ad set and you would essentially change the manual bid on each of those ad sets to a different manual bid amount to scale. So what do I mean by that? Let's have a look in the ad set here. So we're at the ad set of an ad set that's giving us leads at about $8 a pop, and you'll see right down at the bottom here in optimization and delivery is where we start to talk about manual bidding and auto bidding. So lowest cost is basically where Facebook tries to go after the cheapest result for you. Now, this may sound good. However, this means that you might be missing out on a whole slew of potential conversions and leads, and possibly even higher quality leads that may mean more customers for your client, right? So Facebook is actually trying to get you the cheapest result here, not necessarily a stable, consistent result. And that means that you may be missing out because other advertisers in the auction process may be outbidding you. You may be missing out on a higher quality audience. Now with target cost, this is where you essentially can tell Facebook, hey, I want to have an average cost of this amount. And as long as you're bidding within this range, then I'm happy for you to bid that amount to go after those clients or those leads or those prospects. Now you might be thinking to yourself, well, that doesn't make sense. I don't want to tell Facebook, for example, if you said here a bid of $50, I don't want to spend $50 on a lead. Now, it doesn't mean that it's going to cost you $50 because at the end of the day, if you go after a higher quality audience, they may convert a lot better, both on your funnel as well as in the back end with your customers. So, and it doesn't mean that Facebook is going to spend $50 to get the lead. It's just that you're giving it permission to do that. So if the cost per lead is the most important thing for you, getting a cheap cost per lead, stick to your auto bidding, stick to lowest cost. If, however, you're after scale and your client is demanding more leads, this is where you start to play around with your target cost. So if you were going to do horizontal bidding where you're duplicating the ad set, you would essentially duplicate it multiple times, and each ad set you would have a different manual bid. So Facebook's telling us here our average cost per conversion is $8.32. So we might do one where our manual bid is twice the amount. We might do one where it's 3 times the amount. We might do one where it's 4 times the amount, etc., etc. So you're playing around with your manual bid, and you're essentially keeping a really close eye on those ad sets when you launch them to see which ones are stalling, which ones are blowing up and not doing very well, and then finding the ones that are doing really well and the bid amount that is doing really well for you as well. And then you can vertically scale those ones. So you can start increasing the budget on those ones. So this is generally a very aggressive way to scale. Now, if you just wanted to scale slowly because spend was the most important thing, what you would do, you may even have a button that says adjust budget here, although they seem to be phasing that out. You would just take this amount and you would find out what 16 or 15% of $20 is, and you would increase the budget, click publish on this, and then in 2 to 3 days, repeat the process as well. Now you can create an automation rule for this, guys. Don't forget about that. So you can create a rule to increase the budget automatically. So adjust budget, increase daily budget by 16%. And you can put a cap here as well. So let's say it's $200, you know, once bi-weekly. If cost per result is smaller than, say, we say $20. And then you can create this rule, give it a name, and then save it. So this will be doing it automatically. Just double check it is working, because sometimes these automation rules don't work that well. All right, so one of these strategies is using auto bidding, and then the other one is using manual bidding. This one is more aggressive. This one is if your client wants, you know, scale faster, more leads more quickly. This one is if a lower cost per lead is the most important thing. So scale up slowly. This one, duplicate and switch up your manual bids. And that is how to scale lead gen campaigns.